Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. It's Keldon, you know. Um, yeah. Hold on. See, the first thing I gotta do is I got to silence the notifications real quick. Motherfucker call, not be in my feelings. But welcome back to the channel. You know, the walks be in different places sometimes, but it's one of my favorite areas. You know, I'm gonna introduce it like I normally do. But we are Legacy West. Um, it's like after hours here. And yeah, decent weekend. First, I want to thank all of the new subscribers. Don't act like I didn't see y'all subscribe to the channel if you catch this. But I'd like to thank all of the new subscribers. I think we got 10 subscribers. I think it might have been from the other day, or not even from the other day, from yesterday. So 10 subscribers from yesterday, 30K views on a video of me learning to box from my trainer. That's amazing. 30K views from me, quick video of me boxing with my trainer. Um, and I would say, you know, that video just being, I don't want to say successful, but that video just gaining a littlest bit of littlest bit of traction definitely boosted my confidence, you know what I'm saying? And it got me ready to continue to put out more content because at the end of the day, I know that, you know, while, you know, I don't think that this stream is going to get a million views, you know, but it's letting me understand that there is a light at the end of this tunnel and I got to just keep pushing. So, like I said, I think as I keep doing this, I feel like what this channel is going to end up being is going to be some sort of self-help, but I don't want to be that self-help guy that's like super serious all the time. Cause like I feel like you gotta laugh, you know. I like to laugh, you know. I'm not gonna be the one screaming at you, yelling at you. I might, you know, I might throw a little screaming in there at some point, but for the most part, this ain't gonna be screaming and yelling. It's gonna be a lot of logic. It's gonna be some, you know, some corny jokes. You know, it's gonna be a lot of that shit. But I will say, um, I think I understand that this channel has to be about self help. But I guess the difference in this channel, which is crazy, you know, is that the self help is obviously for the viewers, but the self help is also for myself. You know, as I'm going through this process, I'm not really at the place where I'd like to be. And so I figured when we do this, we do it in a way where we're doing it together. So I'm on a mission where I'm finding self help. And, you know, if you're viewing this, you're on a mission for self help. And you're probably a guy because I've been looking at the analytics. My demographic appears to be men from the ages of 24 to about 40. Um, and, you know, a lot of times you would want to fight what the demographic is, but, you know, that speaks to a lot. That just speaks to, you know, who relates to me. And I'm in that group. So first, we're gonna start off, you know, I don't know if there's anybody who's also watching who's on a fitness journey, but I started off this year, 242 pounds, hopped on the scale, was bloated, my back was starting to hurt. Um, and I was starting to feel, I don't want to say I was feeling like I was losing it, but I was starting to feel like I felt like I was at the end of my prime as a person. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting fat. I'm sitting at a desk now. And um, that ain't really me. That ain't really me. And I brought this up in some other streams. Obviously, um, I lost my mom about a year ago, and like I said, I spent so much time in the hospital, and I spent time in the hospital with her, um, and I know that that's not what I see for myself in my future. Obviously, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor and get checked up and do all that stuff, but for as much as I can fight it, I'm gonna make sure that I'm just not somebody who's in the hospital all the time. So yeah, back to what I was saying. Started off this year about 242. Today, this morning, hopped on the scale, 206. Got my body scan. What was that? Yesterday, Saturday. Got my shit scanned Saturday, and we at 206. I've lost 10% body fat since what was that? January. Well, no, not even January, because I was probably fatter in January. I lost 10% since my first scan, and that was in April. So in April, I was 36% body fat. 4 months later, I'm currently 25% body fat. Lost 30 pounds of fat, gained 5 pounds of muscle. Um, and that kind of leads me into what we're talking about tonight. So if you looking at the title of the video, it should say laziness, it feels good now, but you know, and while people who know me, they would, if you were to ask them, is Matt lazy? They would say, nah, he's not lazy. And for all intents and purposes, I am not a lazy person. Obviously, if I'm doing what I'm trying to do now, I'm obviously not lazy, but sometimes I am actually lazy. I would even break it down to the point of coming out here tonight. I would have rather, I would have rather stay in the crib and play Madden. If anybody know, the new Madden just dropped, and I am a huge football fan. It would have been way more comfortable for me to stay in the crib and not come out here and live stream. But what type of sense does that make? You know, I do have a bunch of goals, and attacking them every day is the only way we're gonna see them. So I would start off saying like I sometimes can be lazy. You know, I sometimes can procrastinate, which is, I guess, laziness is little brother. And I think, I really think that procrastination and laziness are really the same thing. Procrastination more so saying that you know you have something to do, but you don't do it, or you're waiting to do it for a reason that we don't know. And obviously, laziness is an unwillingness to do something or anything. And, I look at my life personally, and I always look at the times where I've been lazy. And it's not till I'm getting older that I realize that you literally pay to be lazy. Like you're literally gonna have to pay something. It's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you something to not be lazy, and it's gonna cost you something to be lazy. What might that cost you? Well, with me, I look at, if I was, 240, how the fuck did I get there? I was moving less and eating more. And part of it was laziness, you know? So laziness could cost you your health. Boom. What else could laziness cost you? Laziness could cost you your freedom, you know? Um, there's a YouTuber, I ain't gonna say his name, but there's another YouTuber um, who gets a lot of views or a decent amount of views. I ain't gonna say he get a lot of views, but he gets a decent amount of views. And let me get away from this. There's another YouTuber. He gets a decent amount of views. And if you watch all of his content, or if you see his content, and I'm not throwing slugs at the guy because you never know nowadays how the internet is. You know, this video could absolutely blow up, and and he see it. So I don't, I'm not throwing shade at the man because I've been to a certain extent. I've been in his shoes before, but I've not been in his situation. But he's a YouTuber, gets a lot of views, um, and at one point, he was, getting a lot of views. He was, appearing to be becoming successful on YouTube, and started to give off the image of success. And much respect to him because I can always respect somebody who's honest. But his content has almost flipped on his head to where as though he's not being successful anymore. He's getting put out of his apartment. He has a daughter and a son and a wife. And when you simply just look at him, I'm like, getting all these views. You're you're a young man who's able-bodied. You have a wife who's able-bodied. You know, what reasons do you actually have to not be successful, or to not be able to pay the rent, or to not be able to, you know, um, afford your car? No, and this goes for me too. I'm not exempt from, like I said, that's why I said I've been in his shoes before. I'm not exempt from any of what's saying because, like I said, if I'm saying about him, I'm really saying about myself too, in certain aspects and in certain times. But what what has what could absolutely be stopping someone in that position from not being able to take care of their family, not being able to take care of themselves, and somewhere in there is laziness, you know. And I'm pretty sure if this person was here in front of me, he probably wouldn't agree. He'd probably be ready to fight, but that's the truth. Even me, you know how long I've been wanting to start this YouTube channel? The moon looks crazy right now. You know how long I've been wanting to start this YouTube channel? I've been wanting to, put myself out there. Shout out to Cynthia. Shout out to everybody who done popped up in the stream. So I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. But tonight, if you saw the thumbnail and you seen the status, we talking about laziness, and I'm not exempt from the criticism. Anybody could get it today. But back to what I was saying, I was talking about myself. So um, you know how long I've been saying I was gonna start a YouTube channel, and it's been at least 3 years where I was like, man, I'm just gonna cut the camera on and I'm just gonna talk, and everybody's gonna like it, and and we're gonna be successful. And what would literally happen is I would make one video or two videos or three videos, and then I stop. And hindsight always 2020. I can't even give you a reason of why I stopped. I could be like, oh, I had to work. Oh, you know, but like I said, it all boiled down to laziness. And even like I was going back to the cost of laziness. Like, who knows if I would have started doing what I'm doing now 2 years ago, what that could have been or what it could be now, you know? And for that, that shit cost me opportunity costs. Laziness could cost you laziness could cost you your family, you know? I think that person is beeping at me and it's kind of creeping me out. But laziness could cost you your family. Laziness could cost you your girl. At the end of the day, if you got a girl and you don't make the proper investment into your girl, she could be out of there. And it's happened to everybody. Ain't none of us exempt to this. But I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a while. And honestly, the only reason I can really give, and this is me being honest, is that I was lazy, and that I didn't want to, I was giving myself excuses and reasons of why I couldn't do it. But none of those excuses or reasons were actually valid. It was, oh, I gotta go to work. Nigga, I had to work today and I'm still doing the live stream. Or, oh, I need to pay my bill. Shit, I need to pay bills now. We're still doing the live stream. So, I mean, I think that's the first thing is just getting rid of excuses. And then here's another thing. I had a conversation yesterday. Another way to really attack your laziness, and this is something people have said a million times, but this is my stream, this is what we gonna do. I'm finna say this shit now. The easiest way for you to get rid of laziness is not be around lazy people. Cause if you're lazy and you're around people who aren't lazy, one or two things is gonna happen. Either you're gonna adapt to the ways of the people who ain't lazy, or shit, my nigga, you finna get exposed and they finna weed you out of the squad. So that's another thing I would say. Like, who are your influences? Who are you around? Like, what type of shit are you taking in? Are you taking in the shit that is gonna breed laziness? Are you taking in party? Are you taking in, smoking dope? Are you taking in fucking alcohol? Are you taking in fucking lust, which a lot of us are guilty of? What the hell are you taking in that is influencing you to not do what the hell needs to be done? I mean, so I can honestly say I'll even relate it to now because obviously, like I said, fitness has become like just a pillar of my salvation. I have two trainers, and just having people around me consistently who are about that life or about like being fit and living a healthy lifestyle, it's an immediate influence on the steps I'm going to take in order to obviously craft my mind and craft my body. So the company you keep, and this has been said by every motivational motherfucker ever, but the company you keep will determine your damn future. And unfortunately, sometimes that means you gotta give people up. And it ain't even nothing like that. It might be a family member that you gotta give up. You know? Sometimes your family will make you lazy. And I use fitness because, like I said, it's just a topic that's at the top of my mind right now. But I know me growing up, my um, family didn't necessarily encourage me to necessarily be healthy. And that's no shade towards my family because I love my family very much. And, you know, I'm not feeling bad, or I don't like, feel like I've been done wrong by my family because of that. That's just not necessarily the lifestyle that we lived. But at the end of the day, if in your mind you envision your life one way and everybody around you lives a life that is another way, you will have to remove yourself, or you may become lazy. And that's just how it is. Um, Another thing, obviously, I brought up Homeboy. I ain't gonna say his name, but the issue of finances. Obviously, everybody worried about their finances. Everybody's worried about their money. I'm worried about my money, and I mean, obviously, it works the same way. It's like, my nigga, like, how many apartments do you want to get kicked out of? How many cars you want to get repoed? Um, how many vacations do you not want to go on? You know, uh, how many people do you want to not be able to help? You know, and like I said, the lighting kind of straight right here, and it simply boils down to the fucking laziness. We would rather do drugs, hang out in the hood, get distracted by your goofy ass significant other. That's another one that be making people lazy. That's where we got to go now. So here's another one. And there's a lot of people out here who will pressure you to have a wife or have a boyfriend or have a girlfriend, or you need to be dating somebody. And I think it is a great thing that people get married and stuff like that. And because at the end of the day, marriages, families, that's how society keeps spinning. That's how, the wheels really don't fall off, is the family dynamic, for sure. But at the same time, if you're dating people, uh if you're fornicating with people on a regular basis that, you know, are going in a completely opposite direction as you, that shit gonna fuck your life up. Well, maybe not fuck. Well, yeah, nah, nigga, that shit gonna fuck your life up. Cause I mean, I could point out, let me come over to the light. I could point out mad times in my life dealing with the opposite sex where I went against my natural judgment in order to uh, either give them attention or to just be in their presence. And you always pay for that. You gonna pay one way or another. If that's man, woman, you gonna pay for that. So I guess I could say personally in my dating life, um, I guess um I look for people who are like-minded. I'm trying to, because as you know how men are, we very visual. That's true. But as much as I can fight it, I would love to have somebody who's more so like-minded on the same shit that I'm on. Um, and that and that won't literally influence me to go against my natural judgment because I need to get away from it because you know how YouTube be copyrights. But be with somebody or date somebody who has the same uh, outlook that I do. You know, um, yeah, man. Like I said, if you know me personally, you probably wouldn't classify me as a lazy person. But if I was honest with myself, I would be like, yo, it's been plenty of times where I was lazy. Even I'll even go this far. Um, you know, I was a music artist, you know, for from probably the age of 13, doing shows and doing talent shows and all this other stuff until, I mean, somewhere in my 20s. I can't really say where I stopped making music, you know, but realistically, if I wanted to be a artist or if I wanted to be a rapper or if I wanted to play piano, I could have absolutely done more to make that happen. I could have absolutely done more to make that happen. I lived in the studio for years, recording studio right there. Ain't nobody telling me not to go use the recording studio. And for whatever reason, I ain't always follow up. And then by the time you know it, you old. By the time you know it, you don't give a shit no more. By the time you know it, all the people who believed in your music or believed in whatever the hell you was doing, they're all gone. So before you know it, the support is gone. It's all because, or mostly because, your ass was lazy. So, and now I guess I'm in me personally, I'm in a phase of my life where I'm like, I can't necessarily afford much more laziness, you know, because I don't see, I know that I don't want to live the life of just, yes, sir. Shit, I just started a YouTube channel, doing really just motivational content, stuff like that. Just encouraging people to be the best version of themselves. And tonight I'm just talking about laziness. Yeah. So I literally, I didn't even want to come out tonight, but I had to pick myself up and come out here and do this walk. Yeah. No, it's all good, man. Be safe. But yeah, even that, like me getting up. Granted, he's walking down the street, so. But imagine if that person right there was the motherfucker that was gonna help change. We was gonna help change each other's lives, and I literally sat in the fucking house playing Madden instead of going out here and making this probably 45 minute to an hour long stream. So I guess, not even I guess. What how you gonna pay? That's my question. How the hell you gonna pay? You gonna pay with effort or you gonna pay with your fucking life? For real. That's my question. That's a question to myself. You doing cash or debit? Nigga, you doing life or death? How you wanna pay, nigga? Nigga, how you wanna pay? What you gonna pay with, nigga? And I guess, like I said, I choose life. I'm not paying. I'm not paying with destruction. I ain't paying with fucking. the people I love the most hating me. I'm not paying with uh, being homeless. I'm not paying with you know, disappointing myself and others. I'm not paying with that shit. I'm not paying with hospital bills. I'm not paying uh, by taking a motherfucker medicine that's literally making me just as sick as the shit I got. I'm not paying that way. I hope you wouldn't pay that way if you're watching, or if you're watching the replay. I hope you wouldn't pay that way. I hope that you understand that most of life is just, at least to me, most of the stuff in life is transactions or trade off. You give one thing for another, one thing for another, one thing for another. So I choose I choose freedom. I choose a motherfucker not being able to tell me what to do, or at least working to that. Because I guess in essence, everybody has somebody that they answer to. But in a sense, I don't want to be able to. I don't want to be limited. I want to be able to buy the food I want to buy. And a nigga might hear me saying some shit like this, what I'm about to say out my mouth, and it sounds superficial. But nah, nigga. Like, what are we working hard for if we're not gonna, create experiences with what we work hard for? So I want to be able to. You want to be able to live the life you want to live. You want to be able to afford the things you want to afford. You want to be able to go the places you want to go. I want to be able to do all these things. And how we gonna do that, my nigga? Not being lazy. And I'm sorry for my language. I really don't want to be so cursive on this channel. But how are we gonna do that? By not being lazy. Shout out to who hasn't left the room. I appreciate you. And even everybody who has left, I appreciate y'all. Um, if you're watching and you haven't liked the video or subscribed, it would be a blessing to me if you were to like and or subscribe to the channel, because like I said, I I don't plan to stop, and I don't plan to stop even if look at the vibes though. I don't plan to stop even if uh, the next 50 to 100 videos or however many videos gets 10 views. Like, I'm totally fine with that at this point. I'm totally fine with it at this point, because at the end of the day, like I said, the work gonna shine through regardless. Like I said earlier, we had our first video on his YouTube channel that hit 30K views, and I wasn't even expecting it. What if I ain't do that shit? I might not have came out here and did this right now, because I was like, oh shit, like, people want to see this shit, or somebody wants to see this shit. Somebody wants to be motivated. Somebody wants to be motivated. Like I said, I literally, that's so crazy to me. Like I literally made a decision like the other day, and I just said I'm gonna document my life, and um, I'm gonna add motivation around it. And like I said, whoever's watching, it's all people coming in. Like I said before, I literally, I wanted this channel to be not necessarily from the perspective of these other niggas you see on the internet, where literally they popping out and they're rich and they got, baddies in the swimming pool and all of this, stuff to where it looks like they just have this ambiance of success. I literally want this channel essentially to be us growing with each other. I'm not looking to flex on per se anybody, even though I think if you do acquire the things you want in your life, you should be able to enjoy them for sure. But this channel is us growing together. Like I said, I'm on my journey together. I'm not rich. I'm not, you know, I'm doing all right, okay, but I'm not rich. I'm not necessarily content with where my life is. It's a lot of stuff that I could be getting done that I haven't gotten done. But this channel is about us, you and me, whoever the viewers are, doing that together. That is simply what this channel is about. Um, yeah, man. It's about us doing it together and really weeding out that weak shit. Really weeding out the like I said, like obviously tonight I'm talking about laziness, but another night is gonna be something else that I'm talking about. So yeah. Who's still with me? Who's still with me? Just check in real quick. If you with me, and you got some input, don't be afraid to drop a comment. For the most part, where we at the channel, I'm addressing all comments, and we letting everybody shine. So, whew, it's a beautiful night. Like I often wonder what, for me, I often wonder what my life looks like if I'm never lazy about some shit. And is it and by not being lazy, I ain't talking about getting rest because you do need rest, obviously. But in my mind, I'm thinking, what is my life like if I always? What is my life like if I went to school back in the day and I did what I was supposed to do in school? What does my life look like today? What is my like? Even if like I brought up the music, what does my life look like if I follow through on every opportunity? With the video, I'm been a videographer forever. What does my life look like if I follow through on every gig? If I finish every project? What does my life look like? If I freaking commit to this, what does my life look like? What do your life look like if you commit to the shit you say you won't commit to? Damn. Huh. What does your life look like? And really, like I said, I want freedom. That's it. Freedom. I don't ask for much more than freedom. So I think I got that off my chest. I think that's what I was burning in my soul this whole day. Like the real reason why so the real reason why I wanted to talk about laziness is like I said earlier. I had a friend yesterday, and basically my friend was basically telling me about You know, a person who came around that was lazy. And mind you, everybody who was around my friend, they trying to get it. You know, and then you literally have one person who is lazy and ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, my nigga. What is you doing? I think that's gonna be our conversation for the night. It's what time is it? I think it's like 11 something. That's gonna be our convo for the night. Like I said before, like, subscribe, leave a comment, turn on the notification bell. Like I said, if it's 9 views every night, it's finna be 9 views. And the shorts finna do numbers. And then the long form finna do numbers. So I'm finna be out. Love y'all. Peace.